Let's talk about cheating. Now, truthfully, it's kind of a shame that I even have to make a video about this. However, given that I have a lot of influence over many young men around the world, I believe it's my responsibility and my duty to make a video explaining why men should not cheat. And this is especially true given the recent uptick in the influence of men who propagate the idea that cheating is not only natural, but okay for men. And for some reason, not okay for women. Now, first of all, I'm not here to explain why cheating in and of itself is bad. I think that goes without saying. If you have some common sense, if you're capable of thinking for yourself and considering the emotions of those around you, then I don't need to explain to you why cheating is bad. However, what I want to do is I want to break down why some of the arguments that people use to justify cheating are simply not sufficient to justify the actual action of cheating on someone else. That being said, the first reason why cheating is not ever a good idea is because even though men are biologically wired to be polyamorous, if you will, that doesn't mean that we are subject to biology. Now, let me explain what I mean. Okay, I already know I have people disliking the video and dropping the scientific research and the statistics and all of that. Look, I get it. However, you need to understand that we are only subject to biology to a certain extent. Case in point, semen retention. Men are not biologically wired to do something like semen retention. This is why it's a challenge. This is why people count the days that they're on nofap or on semen retention, is because getting to 90 days on semen retention requires you to reject the number one biological desire that you as a man innately have and will always have for as long as you're fertile. Semen retention would not be possible if we were entirely subject to biology. In other words, biology is not as black and white as many men think it to be. And even if it is true that men naturally are polyamorous, that doesn't make cheating okay. Because guess what? Me and my girlfriend, we had a discussion about this the other day, about what constitutes cheating. And the conclusion that we collectively came to was that cheating is not so much about getting with another person, but rather it's about lying. You see, if you're cheating on somebody, that word implies that you are lying to your partner. You are breaking the agreement that you made with that partner. You're breaking the terms of the unwritten contract in the relationship. And it's funny because one of the most masculine traits that any man can have, and you tell me if you disagree with this, but one of the most masculine traits that any man can have is to stay true to their word. If you can stay true to your word, then you're already a very masculine man, just based on the fact that you are staying true to the terms that you've set for your life. Bearing that in mind, why would cheating be an exception to that rule? Just because it's biologically innate within us that we may have a propensity or a proclivity for polyamorous relationships? I don't know. You have to answer that question for yourself. But for me personally, I decided that I would rather abide by the word, abide by the agreement that I've made with my girlfriend to be monogamous. Because not only do I respect her, but I respect myself enough to stay true to the word and the agreement that I've made to be loyal. Ultimately, as a man, or really as a woman as well, as anybody, you can cheat and your partner will never find out. But you will know and you'll have to live with it. You'll have to live with the knowledge that you broke the terms of the agreement and you are not a man of your word. And it's funny because a lot of these men, they preach masculinity, but then they also preach cheating. They preach playing with emotions. They preach dishonesty. But me personally, I don't believe that to be masculine at all. One of the most interesting arguments that I've heard in favor of cheating is that you have to cheat on your girlfriend to know whether you truly love her or not. Now, this is one of my favorite arguments because I believe that a lot of people who believe this haven't really thought this through all the way, right? And what do I mean by this? I'm a straight male. I don't know about you, but I'm a straight male. I've always known I was straight, and I never questioned it. Never in my life have I questioned whether or not I was straight. I've always known that I was into women. Plain and simple. I did not need to go out and get with a guy to know this. I didn't need to get with a guy to know that I'm a straight male and that I'm into women. You don't always need to deal with the opposite of something to know whether or not you appreciate the thing that is true in your current reality. I don't need to go to prison to know that I value my freedom. I don't. And maybe some people do. But if you do, then you have to be willing to accept the consequences of the decisions that you'll make as you go about figuring out the answers that you already have within you. Because if you can't stay loyal to your woman, then that probably tells you all you need to know, not about your woman, but about yourself. Again, it tells you that you're not a man of your word, and that's something that you need to work on. If your woman's not giving you something that you would ideally value in a relationship, then you need to communicate that with her. Perhaps you have communication issues. Cheating is never the answer, and it is not the optimal way to figure out if you love your woman or not. Just like getting with a guy isn't the optimal way to figure out if you're straight or not. Now, I have nothing against people who are not straight. You do you. What I advocate for is staying true to the terms of the agreements that you make, not only with other people, but with yourself. I made a video recently talking about how a lot of the guilt that people feel from relapsing on nofap or semen retention is not so much because of the action itself, but rather because of the understanding that they've broken an agreement with themselves. And as a result, their trust with themselves is slowly but surely deteriorating. That's what the source of the guilt and the shame is, and the same applies to cheating. The same applies to cheating. You don't feel bad after you cheat because you got with someone else and because you love your girl. You feel bad because you broke the agreement that you made, and the masculinity within you sees that. Now, speaking of masculinity, another trait of a masculine man is being on your purpose. And look, I don't know if some people just have 26 or 27 hours in a day and I only have 24, but I don't see how somebody could feasibly have enough time to entertain multiple options or to cheat on their woman and also be on their purpose. If you're cheating on your woman, then that means that you're spreading yourself too thin, either in terms of your purpose or in terms of your relationship, right? If you're dealing with multiple different options at a time, then something has to give. There's a compromise in some aspect of your life because there's simply not enough time in a day to do that. Either you're not giving yourself the way that you should to the options that you have because you have too many, or you're not giving yourself to your purpose in the way that you should be giving yourself to your purpose. And everybody suffers because of that. Not just the women, but everybody that you are supposed to impact by you being on your purpose at your fullest possible capacity. Again, one of the hallmark traits of a masculine man is being on your purpose. If you don't know what your purpose is, then it serves you well to find out. I've made various videos explaining how you can find your purpose, but it's up to you whether you're going to take those steps and actually put that advice into application and find and follow your purpose to the fullest possible extent that you can, which also involves letting go of some of the extracurricular activities in your life. Something that I never understood is how men could justify having multiple options as a form of leverage. Because if you have multiple options and you truly believe that none of them stand out from the crowd, then none of them are worth your time. None of them are worth your time. You're wasting your valuable time dealing with women who have no place in your life. Simply put, if you feel like you need to have 5 options, you have not met the one yet. You haven't met the woman who is meant to accompany you on your journey, probably because you're not on your purpose. When you're on your purpose, the woman will find you. Yes, the woman will find you. You don't have to go looking. The woman will find you where you are. Now you have to meet her in the middle, but the woman will find you because you are being your authentic self by being on your purpose. You're being a masculine man that she is willing to follow. Doesn't mean that a woman can't have her own thing going on, but she has to be willing to walk with you on your path. But in order for her to be willing to do that, there has to be a path for the both of you to walk on.